Hello.
Hi, Mr. Patrick. Hi, Mr. Hakam.
Hello.
Hi, Mrs. Behan. I'm Patrick.
You are welcome, Mr. Patrick. Mr. Hakam, you are welcome. Just we want like make a bit of question about the what you sorry tamam. Listen for me message tamam. We are ready. Mr. Mahmoud, we are ready. About the difficulties you face in teaching English language. Also, you have like I'm sure about any job we can have like difficulties we face. Can we talk about Mr. Patrick? Can you give me your difficulties you face?
Okay. Thank you very much. First of all, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too,
Mrs.
dear.
Behan. And nice to talk to you again, Mr. Haka.
Nice to see you.
It has been a week. Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm Patrick, and I'm working with Mr. Hakan along with the other facilitators for English learning. I don't call myself a teacher. I don't call myself I call myself a facilitator. I facilitate. I help the kids to learn. And I'm 26 years old, and I'm originally from Rwanda, and I'm currently in Kolejinde. Okay. And right to your question, where you said, what are the problems that we face, or the barriers that we face while in English education? First of all, of course, like it's a barrier that is always there. It's a second language.
Yes.
For the kids who are learning, so it just for it being the second language, it kind of is a barrier in itself, and you have to constantly destroy it. That's one. Number two, is it's a kind of a cliche in Turkey. By the way, I am a speaking facilitator, so I don't go into grammar or vocabulary. I just help the kid to talk, to practice what they already have. And in my experience, with what I've seen, with what I've faced, and what I'm still facing, is the grammar teacher, they have done a very, very good job. And like the kids, they have a good grammar. They have the technical knowledge of the language. But when it comes to speaking, it's as if it's like you are holding their hands and teaching them how to. It's as if you are helping a baby to start walking at the first time. So that is extremely hard, because okay, a person knows the technicality, the grammar, the language knowledge, but they don't know how to use it.
So, about applying.
Come again, about what? Yeah, applying.
Applying.
Exactly. Yes. So it's usually hard to bridge up the gap.
There's a gap.
And the gap becomes aware, like becomes clear when you get to the upper grades, like from let's say from grade 6 and up, it gets harder because the grammar continues, but maybe the practice is if the practice is not enough, the grammar level is high, but the speaking level is still at the kindergarten level. So it's very hard to bridge the gap. But for the kindergarten and up to maybe middle school, the grammar has not got intensive yet. So it's kind of easy to bridge the gap and walk the students up. Barrier 3, which is also hard, but pretty much you can't do anything about it, is the number of students in a class. Okay, like
the number of students
in a classroom, within a classroom. Okay. I mean, like, yeah, we have to get real. Yeah, like a 101 education, you cannot be compared to a classroom setting, especially when it comes to English. Mathematics, chemistry, that can be a different story, but when it comes to language, the lower the number, the better. The better the outcome. Because they will need to practice. And again, I'm talking on my side. Maybe Mr. Hakan has got a different...
now we'll take Mr. Hakan's opinion about this question.
Yeah. They have got a completely different take. So I'm making my own observation.
You are thinking about like this difficulty you face. You make like your suggestion about like of solving this difficult or not, Yani, or you have like an opinion about to solve this problem. About the tools, yani, if it's like the student, you have, like you say, a lot of students. What about the tools? The tools you give the information about the language, English language. You feel that the student they are attractive for this language, or what do you think that boys more attractive or girls more attractive, or there's what do you think about the interaction about this student? I want to hear now Mr. Hakan, if you please, about the difficulties, and then we also back to you, Mr. Patrick.
No problem.
Okay, dear. Yes, Hakan, please.
I want to start my words with what Patrick mentioned before. He has points, first of all, about when it comes to the speaking. Yes, the numbers are high, and this is not something we can do about. We try to speak and let them speak as much as possible. We should do it starting from the kindergarten, not only in high school, but also kindergarten, primary school, secondary school, high school. They should be able to speak in their level. For kindergarten, that can be repeating the words, the basic words. For secondary school, for example, they can talk about the things simply. When it comes to the high school, it can be a little bit more complicated, but they must talk. This is something that was ignored before in education system in Turkey, but the student-centered methods tell us that the students should be able to talk, because English is, after all, overall English is for talking. They should be able to talk. They should be able to tell their ideas so that they can communicate. But there are some problems about not only numbers, but also some other problems when it comes to the talk for students. The thing is that the first problem that I see, this is something cultural that I commonly see in Turkey in every school. For example, when I let a student talk, the others should be listening what he or she is saying. That's the thing. But usually, almost always, they don't listen to each other. That's a big problem. So that we cannot make a healthy communication. I cannot understand her or him. They cannot understand me. And the others keep just yelling. They lose their interest. When it is their turn, and normally the others, they don't listen. So it's just like a circle. Yeah. Only few students, they listen each other or they respect their talk. They just listen when the others talks. This is like 1 in 3. But 2 in 3, like majority of the students, like 70% of the students, they don't listen each other when the others are talking. Listening is also an important part of learning. Listening others talking, not only talking, but also listening others talking. This is an important part of learning. So they don't listen each other, and they have, this is not towards language. That's a general attitude I want to mention. They don't know how to behave in a public place. That's a big problem. And that's the results of everything, not only school, but also family. That's the result of it. They have a bad attitude. If they have a bad attitude, that usually means that they have a bad attitude at home too. That's something negative, that bad attitude towards teacher, towards their students, towards the topic, the language topic. So this is something we should fix.
Yes, then Mr. Hakan, I have like a question about, like you like a teacher of English language, and you was like before like a student like for for English language, and what you have like the mistake that you can avoid as when you face it when you was as a student, and now you are a teacher. How you can give us like kind of solving the thing that you was hoping it will happen when you was a student, and now you make it for your student as a teacher.
I would like to mention about my story of learning English, because until the high school, even after the first 2 years of the high school, I was not good at English, and forget about being good. I was just a bad student. I didn't know about English, nothing about English. But at some point, I noticed that people around me, they speak or they understand English in a certain level. I was kind of curious. At some point, I asked myself, why they can do it, I cannot do it? Because we take the same classes in high school. Then I started asking my friends, my good friends, like, your English is better than mine, way better than mine. But how? How can you pronounce good? How can you understand more than me? How can you speak? And they mentioned about their motivations. One of my friends, Gökhan, he's still my friend, and he mentioned about his motivation, which was music. It was rap music, old school rap music from 90s, America, this and that. I listened it. I didn't like it. I tried it. I didn't like it. So that was not my motivation. I canceled it. Then I asked another friend. His name was Ahmed, and his English was good. I asked Ahmed, what are you doing for your English? I mean, you have an excellent English compared to mine. And he said me that he is into online games, and he plays games till mornings. And then, the online games, online chat, he chats with the people all around the world. That was how he improved his English. I tried it. I didn't like it. At that time, at that age, I was 16, 17. I didn't like online games or spending too much time on online games. I just didn't like it. That was not my motivation. Then I asked a girl. Her name was Gamze. I asked, what do you do for your English? And she briefly told me that she watched TV series. And talking about that time, 2005, 6 around, internet and social media was not like this, of course. We had internet, it was slower, and we had some opportunities, some options. It was limited compared to today. And I started watching a TV series. After, say, 2 years in high school, I started watching a TV series. First, I watched with Turkish subtitles. That's how I started. Later on, when I improved my English, I switched to English subtitles. And now, after a while, I was able to watch anything without any subtitles. That's like level 1, level 2, and level 3. So that's all about motivation. My English was not good because I was not doing anything besides lessons. Of course, I had lessons, I joined the lessons, but I didn't like the language. I treated English as a school topic. I go to school, I take exams, I pass or I fail, I try to pass. Then I talk to teacher, this and that, but English should be a part of our daily life. English shouldn't be treated as a school subject. That's what I care about. English should be a part of daily life.
If you say that, yeah, that's right, it's going to be like a daily life. Then what about the tools? Mr. Patrick, Mr. Hakan, are you satisfying about the tools of give the information for the student, or you have like abilities for innovation for these tools, and you can give like suggestion for accepting the English language from the student, from the student you treat with? Understand me?
Yeah, right. I understood. You are obviously asking for the.
Yes, for the we will start with Mr. Patrick, please. Then we'll go back to Mr. Hakan. Okay, dear Mr. Patrick.
Okay. You are asking about the tools and.
Yes.
What do we think?
The tools you use as like a teacher, you satisfying about, or you can have like innovation about the abilities of to make these tools more acceptable to the student, or more effective to make the student attract to this language.
Okay. Well, I will not say that I employ special tools for my. Again, I'm talking about my side because I'm at the speaking. I do the speaking part, which is more about practicing and using what we have already acquired. My most conventional tool is story time. For example, where I ask my students to come up with their own stories and explain and do their best to explain their stories in English. 90% of my classes which I go to, they like this story time. Yes. Everyone wants to share their story. Some of them have ridiculous stories, but who cares? So long as they speak. That's my first my first tool. My second one, obviously, is even if my class is about speaking, but again, speaking kind of goes along with listening. So actually, listening is kind of speaking, but passively, because we are listening the words that we could be the ones speaking, but this time we are listening. So I kind of passively make my students listen. I make my students passively talk by listening to what others are saying. For example, through some videos that I may prepare that are related to the subject in question. Yeah. And here, what it helps, everyone is attentive, everyone wants to listen. And it kind of, even though it's not enough and it's not a permanent solution, but it kind of deals with what Mr. Hakan talked about earlier about how the students are not interested in listening to one another. But when I put a specific video that we are going to listen for, let's say 2 minutes or 5 minutes, everyone is, let me see what the video is talking about. And of course, finally, my final tool is asking questions directly to a student, one-on-one. What did you understand? What will you do? What is this? What do you think about this? Blah, blah, blah. These are my simple basic tools. And of course, to those who are interested, giving them a homework of like telling them to work on something, work on a specific subject, and come up with what they come up with their findings, and so on and so forth. But that one I don't apply to everyone. Those who are interested, they can pick up. So pretty much those are my tools. Am I satisfied with them? Well, all the tools do not work 100%, but I would say that I'm satisfied to the degree of, let's say, 70% and 80% in between. Yeah.
Yeah, it's make like effective 70%. You think that?
Yeah. And so far so good, I will say.
Then we go, Mr. Hakan. Also, can you please tell us about the tools and what the tools innovation it is like you can suggest us, you feel from your experience as an English teacher, it is what we can do, what you advise, what you would like to have from your experience with the student. If you are like suggested about the tools and your opinion, if you please.
Okay. The thing is that for English in secondary school or in high school or even higher levels or lower levels, I am trying to destroy the prejudices first. There are some false beliefs that people, we cannot do that. English is the hardest language in the world. Like Turkish people cannot speak English, or there are some others. There are some other rumors about this language. I am trying to destroy these prejudices. That feeling many of the students have. I cannot do that. I cannot speak. I cannot understand. I cannot do. I cannot be. Of course, they cannot understand everything. Or of course, they cannot understand a person, a native speaker who speaks fast or who speaks with accent or who has some speaking disabilities. They cannot understand them. But the more they listen, the more they understand, the more they are exposed to language, the better they speak. And the more they speak,
what the motivation you give them, your student, to be more like, you see this a problem, you suggest about the problem because it is you face it because you are the teacher, but the motivation you make for your student to be more effective, more catching easily for this language or like this language.
I was about to mention those. So the thing is that they should be exposed to language in their life. School language here, it should be more about practice, but they should be like my first verse. English shouldn't be a school lesson. They should see, they should listen, they should watch English in their free times. But how? That's the question. How? What they can do? First of all, the activities should be appropriate for their level and for their age. That's one thing. For example, a secondary school student from like 6th grade, they cannot watch what adults watch, movies or TV series. They cannot watch everything. What they are watching should be appropriate for their age and level. That's one thing. So, for example, the music, same. They cannot listen everything. This should be guided activities, and because this is their free time, it is that responsibilities is in the family's shoulder. I can say that they should listen music, whatever they like, but appropriate for their age, and they should do some applications. This is funny for them. There are many applications designed for English learners, and at this age, in my students' age, I'm in the secondary school. These are really funny, and they like it, and they use it. For example, the adult learners, they are not so willing to do these kind of applications, even if it is designed for the adults. So they don't like it very much, but the students, they like it, but they should see it. They should be able to trying it. That's the main point. Applications, music, movies and TV series may be too much for them, but they can watch some short videos, and then they can watch some, I'm sorry, they can watch some educational videos. It can be about directly school subject, or it can be about something they are interested in. The internet is full of free content about it. Like most of them are free on internet or on YouTube or in some other websites. They can find them. And the thing is, what I find very important for the students, they should use dictionary. And specifically, not the old kind of dictionaries, but the dictionaries they can use on their phone or tablets or at last on the computer. They should use the computer, they should use the dictionary, and that should be a part of their life. That should be something they used to. They should get used to it, using dictionary. Because I consider language like a puzzle, and they have some sort of puzzles, and they are missing some puzzle pieces, which are words, and they should find them by themselves and just put it in the sentence. If they make a mistake, we are there to correct it. If they are taking a wrong way, we are there to help them. But they shouldn't be a lazy student who solves all the problems on translation, because translation, the language on translation, it is not what they are doing. They just type in Turkish and just come the results. The results come out, and it is not their work. They are not doing anything there. So that's the main problem, in my idea. They should use the dictionary. So I'm promoting my students to use dictionary as much as possible on internet, on a smart board. I did it today, for example. I made them use the dictionary by themselves. And this is important. And besides that, the number one, the priority is the visual materials. Then after that, the listening. But the things they like, that's the main thing. The things they like the short videos, applications, music, books, if they like reading books, they should be a part of their life in English. Not only the school lesson. The school lesson mostly should be about evaluating the students or practicing the language. But the other things they like, they should be doing it in their free times. This is very important. Again, I'm promoting.
Mr. Hakan. Yeah, sorry, Mr. Hakan. Mr. Patrick, do you think that if you use all the time English language during talking with your student inside the class, outside the class, do you make enforce them to talk English, to know more English language? This is a good way, or what do you think is your opinion?
Well, the thing is that if I force them to speak in English, only 10, 15, maximum 20% of them will be able to do it. And all others will grow prejudices about the language, and they will be like, oh, I cannot do that. So I'm going to lose 80-85% of the school, 80-85% of the students, if I force them to speak in English right now. Instead of this, I am trying to promote them to do things in their free times. Again, all the things I mentioned like a minute ago, movies, videos, applications, short videos, dictionary, book, some other things. What they are doing in their free time, they should like the English. They should love the language. They should love it. If you force them again, there are 23, 24 students in each classes. I'm going to lose more than 15 of them. I don't want to lose them. English learning, it doesn't have to be today. It may be tomorrow. But if they grow prejudices again, and if they believe them, what is worse, if they believe them that false things, they cannot learn English. That's gonna be a problem in the future for them. I don't like them to grow attitude towards English. I don't like it. So instead, I'm trying to show the nice things about the language and trying to make them love the language. and trying to make them understand that they can speak, or they can understand in a certain level. That's why I'm making my language, my lesson as simple as possible if it is needed. Not only their level, I go below their level. If they are having hard time to understand the topic, understand my words, or understand anything, I am basically make it simpler because of that. I don't want them to grow an attitude towards the language.
Tamam, yes. Mr. Patrick, please. Thank you, Mr. Hakan.
Okay. My opinion about like what can we do to promote, to encourage the students.
Yes.
Into wanting to speak and use the English. I do not force. I do not, and I should not the students to their own practices, because I think the only result that will come into this is resentment of the English instead of actually getting the positive result. Are they coming from Mr. Hakan or coming from?
The sound is not okay. Can you repeat this, because the sound is like cutting. There's kind of weak of signal. Sorry, Mr. Patrick.
Can you mute yourself? Maybe is the sound coming from your side? The loud kids. Okay. Now everything is okay. All right. Okay.
Okay. Tamam.
I was saying that I'm not going. I should not force anyone into doing something that they do not willingly want to do. The only product of it, the only result of it is a resentment, and they can actually hate the language instead of loving it. And I remember one of the places I studied in my school back then, when I was still a kid, is one method, and that I would suggest. I want to suggest a lot of tools. I would just suggest one because it really worked for me when I was learning French. They used to get us out into groups. Okay, like they would say, okay, we had a thing that kind of looked like a speaking club or so, and people who want to improve their French, we would join, and every now and then, maybe like once a week, like once a month or once in 2 months, we would go out and something like a tour, and they will bring people who speak French, and like we will enjoy the whole day with them, trying to kind of like we will kind of to measure.
It is still like, sorry, I think there's a week of the signal, Mr. Patrick. Mr. Patrick, I think he have like weak in his Wi-Fi. Okay. Hello, Mr. Hakan, you are with me. So you don't hear Mr. Patrick.
I don't hear him. He's disconnected.
Yeah, there's something weak in his signal, in his internet signal, I think. Yes. It's okay. Then what about Mr. Hakan? He said that it's about the practice it is like this, what he say about the French group and that, but this is like a school. You can make like this in the school, like a group of class or something like that. And after that, you make like a topic or subject or a story, and then you once a week or once a month you can discuss and they find the new words of this story or this book. What is your opinion about, Mr. Hakan?
Practice is the most important part of the welcome back.
My internet went off.
Okay. Again, practice is the most important part of language learning, and the students, I promote them to use every small opportunity to talk in English. Like I tell them, I mention about the options, what they can do. Whenever you see foreign people, or if you have somebody nearby, foreign people who doesn't speak much Turkish, mostly in English, use this opportunity. Speak with them as much as you can. I'm promoting them for this, and in my classes, in a class, it's designed for 40 minutes, and if there is, normally I have like 22, 23 students, and of course, not all of them are able to speak during the classes. Mostly there are some strong ones and super strong ones in the class. They are willing to talk more and more, and I let the weak ones to talk, but of course, not all students are able to talk during the class. I try not to ignore anybody. I try to make them say something, at least something, a simple sentence or a word. I try to make them, because this is important for their self-confidence. They can just sit there silent and just go home, but they are not gonna learn anything. And if it happens so for a student continuously, he or she is gonna grow a bad attitude towards English, towards the topic. They can do, I cannot. I don't want this. Of course, the strong ones, I have to let them talk more because they are willing to, they are trying, they are showing effort. I need to reward them. That's important. But for the weak ones, I try to make them speak as much as possible. At least 1 or 2 sentences. At least something in front of the others. I'm promoting them. So I try to come up with something appropriate and funny for them, for their age, something they like. And I try to ask questions, and I try to make my lesson speaking based. Of course, I teach grammar too. Of course, I make them read, I make them listen to, but I care about listening, I care about speaking more, the most.
Then this is advice. Mr. Patrick, can we back to you and you continue your opinion? Are you hear us? Well,
yeah.
Sorry. Yes. Yes, we have like 2 minutes about this interview.
Yeah. I'm going to make it very short. What we did, they will take us out, and they will expose us to the people who speak the foreign language, and we will speak with them. And when we come back, we will come with confidence. And those who are not interested, they will get jealous and say, "Okay, the next time we're going with you, and we're going to practice." So it kind of created a kind of a circular effect that made all the students get into it.
Tamam. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, dear Mr. Hakan, Mr. Patrick. It was nice to talking to you about this, and we will have another meeting, inshallah. We will talk more, and from experience, we take a lot of information. Thank you a lot. We'll see you, inshallah, soon.
Okay. Have a good day. It was a nice talk.